I'm looking for Jane.
To ask a question. Do you believe that assisted suicide or euthanasia should be legalised?
Novel one. Anything particularly novel tonight? Let's start.
I suppose because in Parliament we have had to consider these issues previously. My view is that I don't want to arrive at the point where people are assisted to take their own lives. I think life is a gift and is not one that should be, I think suicide to that extent is people are not committing a criminal offence if they commit suicide, but I think it is something that we should not encourage. I think it's very important for people not to be in a position where they're assisting suicide. I think there are many risks associated with it, that people who may be affected by mental health problems and the like may feel that they wish to end their lives, but that actually it is not in their interest to do so, and care may be available to them that might enable them to take a wholly different view. I was very struck listening to somebody who had thought that she wanted to take her own life and thought that she wanted to go to Switzerland in order to do so. Actually met somebody who, after a while, she suddenly realised she had an awful lot to live for. It wasn't that her pain was any less, it wasn't that her treatment was any more effective, it was actually that her attitude completely changed. So I don't want, for us legally, to be making it easier for people to give up hope.
I think this is a really difficult question to answer, and I don't think I'm decided about it yet. Listening to some of the people who are suffering enormous amounts of pain and terminally ill, and considering the suffering that they're going through, you can understand the reasons why they might want to end their lives, particularly if there's a burden on their families as well. Now, I do think it is dangerous though, because one can change one's mind. One might not be thinking clearly about what one really wants. You could come under pressure from family members. I think there are all sorts of problems here, and I think it's right that we proceed extremely carefully on this, and that we take our time and consider all the relevant issues and the moral arguments before Parliament makes any kind of decision on this. And I think at the moment, when we've got cases going through the courts, that's helping us to articulate some of the arguments and some of the problems that we've got with this issue. So I'm sorry that's not a very clear answer, but it's very hard for me to imagine or put myself in somebody's place if they're suffering and want to end their lives. I can't put myself in that place.
Sebastian.
Thank you. For us, these are free vote issues. It's up to your conscience. And I think that's as it should be, in fact, on these two particular issues. So personally speaking, I have really instinctively I recoil from the idea of euthanasia. I just do, for many, many reasons. And so I can't support that. From the point of view of, I'm sure we've all been lobbied quite hard by Dignity in Dying, and they're asking our views on these. So when it comes to dying, actually I think, given the amount of money that we invest at the beginning of our lives in care and support and so on, it's remarkable how little really we invest at the end of our lives. And whilst I slightly instinctively recoil against assisted suicide as well, I think there are occasions, and we've all seen them and they've been absolutely heartbreaking, there are occasions, I suppose, where it is possible. But personally, I have really grave instinctual reactions to it, where I'm not enormously supportive.
For the Green Party, we don't have party whips either on anything. So this is one of the things that makes us independent as well. So for me, this issue was really a very personal one, and my mind has been made up because of my personal experience of it. My father-in-law was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. I knew him for 15 years, fantastic guy. Used to drink a lot of beer with him, and I feel I knew him very well. Very sadly, he has ended up in a situation where there is no quality of life, there is no dignity. It's a heartbreaking experience, and I know without any degree of uncertainty that he would not want to be where he is now, which is lying in a hospital bed, able to get out of bed, able to be fed in anything other than a tube. There's no dignity in it, there's no quality of life, and we must look at ways of not allowing that to continue, because I guarantee you that's not what he would have wanted his last days to have been.
My mother was kept alive longer, in my view, than she ought to have been. I went to see a 94-year-old last week in a care home who wanted to die and can't. All old people these days seem to have pneumonia jabs, etc., to keep them alive. We keep them alive, they lose their dignity, they lose everything. The old boy could do nothing. He's bedridden, he's been bedridden for a year, he is in despair. I've got various things wrong with me, although they're all under control. I've got prostate cancer, I've got diabetes, and there could be a time too when I'm in the same boat as some of these people. And I would like the opportunity to keep my dignity, and part of that dignity is hope. I want to die decently. I don't want to die as I've seen people die. And that means that if I want assisted suicide, if I need help to die, if I want to be treated in the same way as I treat my dogs and animals, that should be my choice.
I don't see how we can legislate for euthanasia, because my worry is that the right to die may become the duty to die. And I think that is what we're all afraid of. While we've all got tremendous pity for those who are suffering and want to end their lives, I don't think we can legislate. Can I just tell you about my own father? He was only 74 and he had very bad emphysema. His quality of life was, he thought, was nil. He wanted to go. He booked himself into a nursing home and paid for 1 week. He was already very thin, and he just asked them to withdraw care. So he instructed them not to give him anything to eat or drink, and basically he died. I don't know how he worked it out, but he died in 7 days. So but he had his mind working. He didn't have dementia, so he had and we actually went along with him because we knew that there was nothing we could do to dissuade him or encourage him to stay with us. And so we went along with that, and we kept him company. And his very last words were, we said, "We'll see you tomorrow, Dad," and he said, "I hope not." He was in control.
A very painful subject for many people. So thank you to the panel who brought not only their political thoughts, but also their personal testimony as well, for how it affects their lives. Richard Morgan. There we go.
My thanks to the moderator and the Cottenham churches and to the 6 candidates.